So, healing trauma with meditation. Been there, done that, but it's not the solution for everything.
A few of us think that to practice mindfulness, you have only the right to dwell in the here and the now. We have to know that we can learn quite a lot when we practice looking deeply into the past.
Even though spiritual practices like meditation or yoga can really help to get in touch with things that bother you or even are traumatizing, it does not mean that you automatically get rid of everything. You see, in the end, in those practices, it's always about letting go of everything, maybe even to get enlightened.
The connectedness is absolute reality. There are no boundaries. We've made them ourselves. There are no separations. We've made them ourselves.
But as we all know, if something really shitty happened to you, it's really hard to just let go of it. Bad things that happen to us, especially when they come to a traumatizing level, we are totally involved in that. Not just mentally, but also with our whole nervous system. And a lot of times our nervous system has to feel safe to let go of those things. And meditation and yoga can help with that. Even our Zen master told us a lot of times, of course, if we want to go this path until the end, then we have to let go of everything. But depending on things that happened to you, maybe even in other lives, it is hard to just let go of things. And after you resolve that, you can continue with your spiritual practice or even have a psychotherapy as an addition to your spiritual path. And let's be honest, if you could just let go of all those things just by a practice, then there would not be Zen masters or other masters who abuse other people. I'm gonna be honest, there's no mastery within this if you fuck up the life of other people. Like, maybe there are a lot of things still stored in your subconsciousness that you should work through, but that's a topic for itself, and I talked also about that in my former video. So yeah, let's get back to trauma. You see, a lot of times people who start to do a spiritual practice, it doesn't matter if it's Zen or yoga or anything else, they are feeling so horrible because all the other things like psychotherapy did not really help them. So it's totally understandable that if you feel so horrible, like a spiritual path could feel like the last resort for you. Believe me, I met a lot of people like that. I've also been a person like that. What it can help with is to get in touch with your body again, to focus on your breathing or your body sensations. And that can help a lot since we often lost contact to our body, our breathing and all the other stuff. Also, it can really help to regulate yourself when there are really intense emotions or if you're just distressed in a lot of ways.
Honey, just try and relax.
Would you stop telling me to relax? That was Grams' sewing machine.
Since a lot of psychotherapy methods do not always work, which is understandable because of course there is no method that helps everybody, we have had really good experience with body-orientated or somatic psychotherapy. Like, for example, Somatic Experiencing, which is something that I'm studying for more than 1.5 years already.
For me, work with trauma is about seeing what the injury is and finding the solution that helps support the innate healing that all human beings exhibit, to rebound, to become resilient again after these overwhelming events.
As well as a lot of other body work like craniosacral. How do you say that in English? Craniosacral? I will just put it here. Or yeah, other body work like shiatsu. That's a Japanese word. It should be the same in English. And the good thing is, if you do a combination of, for example, Zen meditation and these things that I just talked about, they work really similar because you always enter through the body, through body sensations or through breathing. And that can help to really loosen up a lot of the tension that you got in your body and slowly get in touch with things that are stored in there. I can really speak from experience about that because you see, if you, for example, do Zen meditation, you sit silently for a really long time. And when you sit silently for the first time, then you realize how loud it is inside of your mind, because we are always distracting us. Even if we're just reading a book or going for a walk, There are always new information coming. But if you sit silently, it sometimes feels like, you know, when you open a computer and there are a lot of tabs open and there are sounds coming from different websites and you don't know where anything of that is coming from. That's how meditation can feel like. It's not always peaceful and you sit there and everything is fine. No, meditation can be really hard work. And when you sit there silently, you kind of realize what is really on your mind most of the time. And you could really be surprised what that could be. And since you meditate in motionlessness, you can't really distract yourself. You are not allowed to just stand up and do anything else when it gets hard. And through different body sensation methods, which you do a lot of times at the beginning to have something to focus on, you get in touch with body sensations. And when you sit in a session for a really long time with a lot of people, days after days, and you're also a little bit tired of all the sitting, then you can get in touch with body sensations and feelings and stored up things inside your body and your mind, and that can be really hard. But you get in touch with things that you otherwise could not get in touch with. It's a little bit like your body is relaxing, so the tension has a way of coming up and bite you in the ass. But that's a good thing with Zen meditation because you really learn to go through it. Like, even if it's really, really hard, everything inside your mind screams and you just want to stand up and even hit somebody.
Bitch!
You just stay there and sit. And through that, stored up trauma can release itself. Not always, because as I said, if there is like a really big tension inside yourself, then it could be like the opposite. It's not good to just sit silently with that. Because of that, we always have like help system for people who come in contact with trauma. But still, through this, you can heal a lot of stuff and go through a lot of stuff that could help to just improve your life. When you learn to face the worst things inside yourself, you can overcome really, really great obstacles. And I'm talking from experience, even if it's hard, even if it takes days, weeks, or sometimes months, when you overcome them, you are really happy that you did. And the spiritual practice is, of course, not just about that. You learn a lot about life and what life is really about.
And when we realize that, we can eventually feel embedded in the whole of creation, which we should.
And a lot of suffering comes from people not knowing what all this is for, all this suffering that's going on in the world. Even if you yourself maybe are not suffering, you know that there are a lot of people starving, there are a lot of people in war, and maybe you yourself are a victim of that. It's a big thing for Gen Z to think about those things and then get depressed about it, which is understandable because if you have a look on the news, that is a big thing to be depressed about. And it's a really human experience, suffering itself. And that's because if we go by Buddha's texts, life involves dukkha. A lot of people translate dukkha with just suffering and then they think, well, life is just suffering. That's not what that text means. At least I don't think that. Buddha taught that every experienced condition in life involves dukkha, which can mean that there's an element of incompleteness, an element of dissatisfaction or impermanence. And if we go to the core of spirituality, it is because of the illusion that we are all separated from each other. Because of that, we work on getting back to experiencing the unity of everything. It kind of is hard to explain this in English. We feel like, yeah, I'm Nino and other people are other people, or that like I'm this person for myself.
There's not somebody out there and I'm in here. We're all in it together. And as we feel that, loving kindness and compassion are the natural outcomes of that.
And when you start to get in touch with spiritual teachings, if you're lucky, you get the experience that this is all an illusion, that we are all one. As I also said in my previous video, there is just love. That's the only real thing here, baby. But still, of course, we are humans and we live here as long as we're not enlightened, which means we are suffering. But through dukkha, or suffering, or incompleteness, whatever, we can learn That is the task in this life, to learn through that, to grow, and to overcome those obstacles. And let that be said by somebody who some years ago really hit rock bottom. Like, I was so deep in suffering that I did not think that I will ever come back from it. And it was hard. It was really, really hard to face all those things. All those things that happened to me. And it still makes me kind of sad sometimes, but by facing them and with a lot of discipline, I actually am happier than I've ever been in my life. And I'm really, really happy that I'm not stuck in this circle of going to school, working, breeding, dying, and that's it. Because there's so much more to life. But yet there still are a lot of bad things that happen to you. That's the reason why I did not just become a monk in a Zen lineage. I also started to do this traineeship in Somatic Experiencing, this psychotherapy method, because the combination of both things are really good. But I can promise you, if you're watching this video and you really, really, really feel like dog shit, like hot dog shit, it will be better if you work on it. There is a way. Maybe you still need to search for that way. I told you in this video a lot of things that helped me. Maybe they can help you too, or maybe you will be the person who creates a total different new way to help people. That can also help a lot of other people who are struggling with the same thing as you. But there is a way, and if everything gets really, really dark, then always remember, I am light. I am one too strong to fight.
Return to dark, where shadows dwell. You cannot have this Halliwell.
Keep it going, Phoebe.
Go away and leave my sight.
What are you doing?
And take with you
Fight me!
this endless night.
No!